Did you know a game you have to land a spaceship without crashing?
He says you have to land a spaceship without crashing.
It's a game.
It's a game. I've never played that game, but you know what? My commander, when he was flying the space shuttle back in, he would play a game so that he'd know how to do it in real life. And he said as he was flying back in, he kept saying, "It's only a game, it's only a game," so that he wouldn't be very nervous. Yes.
Are you going to space again?
Am I going to space again? I wish, but I'm retired, so I can't go to space anymore. But if they took retired people into space, I would go again. What kind of class did I take in school so I can be an astronaut? Very good question. I took a lot of math. I took a lot of science. And my degree, when I went to college, I majored in electrical engineering. It's a very good question. Take one and then I'll start moving back over this way. How long was my training? Good question. When you go on a shuttle mission as a crew, if you are going for your first shuttle mission, they call you a rookie, you have to train for about a year. If you've already been in space, and this is, not your first flight, then you train for about 9 months. Because the theory is that you've been there once and you remember so many things, so you don't need as much training as a first-time flyer. Yes? That's a good question. Do the days go faster in space? And the answer to that is no, but let me tell you about one of the, not strange things, but one of the interesting things that happens when you're in space. Now, I mentioned that we're traveling at 17,500 miles per hour. Well, what that means is that we go around the world one time every 90 minutes. So in a 24-hour day, we go around the world 16 times. So we get to see 16 sunrises and 16 sunsets in an Earth day. So that's pretty cool. So obviously we don't tell time by the sun coming up and going down. Otherwise we have 16 days in one day. So the time goes by as the same time on Earth. But we do have a special clock up there that tells us how long we've been on the mission. All right, I'm gonna, yes. Yes.
Why did you have to fly home in the plane?
Why did I have to fly home in the plane? Because the plane protects me from, the cold and the heat outside. And so that's why we had to stay in the space shuttle. We took the space shuttle up, and we had to stay in the space shuttle coming down. Yes?
How many tiles are there on the space shuttle?
How many tiles are there on the shuttle? That's a good question. And I should know because I worked on the shuttle for 9 years. I'm going to have to get back to you. I am not sure. I'm not even going to guess, but I will tell you one interesting thing about the tiles. Every single tile on the space shuttle is unique. So that means if a space shuttle tile breaks over in this location, I can't take one from here and plug it in because each one has its very unique piece of tile. So if this one breaks, I have to make a whole new tile. That's a good question. I think at once upon a time I knew that, but I don't know it anymore. All right, the gentleman there with the bottle in his hand. Have I ever seen a dead star? I have not. But I will say one thing that I did get to see on my space shuttle mission is what they call the aurora borealis, or the north lights. They're lights that dance. We got to see that on 3 consecutive night passes. All right, so many questions. All right, in the red shirt. Oh, I'm going to need a translation for that one. Were there any aliens in space? Besides us, no. There didn't see any aliens in space. Way up at the top. Yes. Yes. What was the purpose of the tiles? The tiles actually protect the space shuttle. As we're coming back in from space and we enter back into Earth's atmosphere, there's a lot of heat. The heat that the shuttle sees is about 2,300 degrees Fahrenheit. So hot, 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 hot. And the purpose of the tiles is to protect the shuttle from all that heat. So that's and if you notice, the bottom tiles are black because they absorb more heat. The tiles on the top are white because they don't see as much heat as the tiles on the bottom. Okay, yes. Was I scared or excited? Yes. I was more excited than anything because it took us a long time to fly, and maybe a little scared. Not much though. Yes. Yes.
Why did you have to mix water with your food to eat it?
Why did I?
Have to mix water with your food to eat it.
Why do we have to mix water in our food to eat? Well, there's not a lot of space in the space shuttle, and so they like to have everything very compact. So they take all the water out of our food so they can compress it in little packages, and that's called dehydrating the food. So in order to eat the food, we actually add water back into it and mix it up and eat. All right, I think I asked you, who didn't get a chance? Right here. Does the food taste good? Yes and no. The good thing is before you ever go into space, you actually have a class where you can taste every single item that they offer. So you go to the class and you don't eat because you know you're getting 200 samples of stuff. And you can decide what you like for yourself. Well, the one thing that happens though is when you get into space, sometimes that stuff that you liked here on Earth, you don't like in space anymore. In the other session I said my favorite food was the beef enchiladas when I was here on Earth. When I got to space they were a little bit too spicy for me. So things change. Yes?
What kind of science did you do?
What kind of science did we do? On our mission we mostly took up a piece to actually build a space station. But the one piece of science that we did do is sometimes when astronauts sleep, they see bolts of light come into their eyes. So we did an experiment where one of my crew members actually put a hat on his head and had these lights shot into his eyes in different times of the day to see if it affected his brain a little differently. He was already a little different to begin with, so we're not sure if it would work or not. Yes?
Do they have microwaves in space?
Do they have microwaves in space? No. The only thing that we don't have a refrigerator, we don't have a microwave, we don't have a sink. The only thing we can do is heat up food. There's a little oven about like this, and add water to food. So I was a gourmet cook. All I had to do was add water and heat. I was good.
Excuse me, we have time for about one more question.
One more question. Oh my gosh, how hard. Okay, the lady in the red and I guess blue striped shirt. I'm sorry? What kind of material is the tile made of? The tile is made of different composite materials. It sees a lot of heat, so you think it's really heavy, but it's actually very, very light. It's a composite of different things. It's a carbon-based composite. You're like, what is that? All right, thank you all for so much for being a wonderful audience. Enjoy your stay at Space Center.
What were you going to ask? What time zone do you go by in space?